We're going to talk about nitrogen. So let's start here. Poop. This is poop. That appears to be coyote poop. And that's a deer track. So we know why the coyotes are here. Let's walk down through nature a little bit. And if I walk very far, I'm probably going to find more deer poop, more coyote poop. But on my walk earlier this morning, I noticed this. This is bits of what appear to be rabbit fur. As you see right here. And it's kind of spread all around. So why would there be coyote poop? Why would there be rabbit fur? Well, this is a living ecosystem, okay? So some poor creature met its end, okay, right? Probably a rabbit met its end right here. Probably at the mouth of that coyote, probably the same one that left that poop over there. So why would we start nitrogen cycle here? When you look at a living ecosystem, you think plants, you think animals, you think soil, you think water, and you know that everything poops, pees, or dies. But with the nitrogen cycle, the actual confusing part, the part that a lot of people don't understand or don't get correct on the AP test, has to do with the bacteria in the soil. So let's start with things pooping and peeing and dying, okay? When everything poops, pees, or dies, any sort of organism, then, and that's plants, whether they decompose or whatever, then that material is going to go down into the soil. You know about decomposers, bacteria and fungi that decompose organisms after they die and decompose the poop and pee of organisms. Now, the poop and pee of organisms has nitrogen compounds in it, but it's not a form that that plants can use, okay? They're NH compounds, specifically ammonia or ammonium. The decomposers create the ammonia, and it's NH4. Nitrogen-fixing bacteria can also create ammonia or NH4. They take the nitrogen out of the air. 78% of what I'm swimming around, flailing about in here, the wind blowing and everything else, this is nitrogen gas, N2 gas. Now plants can't use N2 gas. They need NO compounds, nitrates and nitrites. The nitrogen fixing bacteria take the nitrogen out of the air and create ammonia though, not nitrates or nitrites. So as the decomposers create ammonia, the nitrogen fixing bacteria create ammonia, then there's a whole bunch of ammonia starting to build up in the soil. And that ammonia is toxic to plants. Plants can't use it. So where do we go from there? It's the nitrifying bacteria that change the NH compounds to NO compounds, nitrates and nitrites. Those NO compounds are usable by plants. Plants take up those NO compounds and they add that nitrogen to the proteins of their leaves and tissues and stems, their bodies, okay? That's how nitrogen gets into the living ecosystems, into the world. Plants, take up this nitrogen and grow. It does stimulate plant growth, and the animals, the rabbits, deer, eat those things. That gets added to their bodies. The coyotes eat those organisms. It gets added to their bodies, and as those organisms poop, pee, or die, then it all goes back to the soil. Now, if it stops there, we have this unending addition of ammonia to the soil. It never goes back to the air. There is a gas component to the nitrogen cycle, unlike the phosphorus cycle. So if the nitrogen fixing bacteria are taking nitrogen out of the air, somehow or another it's got to go back to the air, right? There's another type of bacteria here, is denitrifying bacteria. The denitrifying bacteria take the nitrogen compounds in the soil and put them back into N2 gas. That's what completes the nitrogen cycle. So let's just go through this again. It is complicated. Now I'm trying to make this as simple as I can. The nitrogen fixing bacteria take the N2 gas and put it into the soil in a form of NH compounds, ammonia or ammonium. The decomposers in the soil take the material from the living ecosystem, things that have pooped, peed, or died, and they change it to ammonia as well. The nitrifying bacteria change that NH compounds in the soil to NO compounds. Some of that goes into the plants and becomes part of the living ecosystem again. Some of that goes to the denitrifying bacteria, which put it back into the atmosphere into the form of N2 gas. That's the nitrogen cycle.